My name is Steve Damahidi with Viral Bikes, and today we're going to take off and put back on the rear wheel. In order to do that, you do not have to change any of your drop-out adjustments. All you need to do is remove the rear axle and pull the wheel out and then put it back in. But there are some things that are pretty quirky that you need to know about when doing this procedure. So first off, we just remove the rear axle using a 5mm or 6mm Allen wrench, depending on what axle you have. And of course, this just requires unscrewing it and pulling it out. Then the wheel can just drop out of the frame, and you can pull the belt away from the cog in the rear as you drop it away and let everything sort of fall away. So that's the procedure to take it off. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. You don't need to change anything about the dropout settings that you have. Same with putting it back in, because as you put it back in, the belt will go back into tension when it's fully into the dropouts. So the first step when putting it back in, it's a little more complicated than taking it out. You want to get the belt, you want to grab the belt, and you want to align the front of the belt into the cog. And a little of this is trial and error, but you basically just want to make sure that your front of the belt is seated in the front cog, fully and completely and squarely, so that the center track is aligned with the center track fin on the front cog and it's fully engaged. As you're putting the rear wheel in, what you want to do is then align your back cog and the belt together and make sure that the center track system is engaged with the center track fin in the rear cog. Once you do that, you can pretty much just, check your brake alignment and put the wheel in, insert the rear axle, and tighten. Now, one thing you might have to do is you might have to pull backwards on the rear wheel in order to help tension the belt, because the belt wants to pull the wheel sideways a little bit because of the tension of the belt. So sometimes what I do is I put a palm on the dropout and some fingers on the cog to pull it backwards, and then I just engage the threads of the axle and screw it in. There is a torque measurement on the axle. In this case, I believe the torque measurement is 9 to 13.5 Newton meters. So probably want to go a little hot on the higher side. 12 Newton meters is probably going to be pretty good. But make sure and check your axle specs for that information. And that's all there is.